So hi, hello and welcome, and in this video we're going to draw an animal cell together, and we're also going to label it, so you see all of the labels here. And in a different video I'm going to show you a plant cell as well. There are a few important differences, but that is something that I'm going to do in a different video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the structure or the cross section of an animal cell here. I'm going to add the labels, and I highly recommend that you also make a copy of this. When you make drawings, always use a pencil. You want to do some erasing, and it's easiest for you to remember the drawings if you always start out the same way. You're probably going to practice drawing the cell several times. Always start out the same way, and I always start out with the plasma membrane because this defines the overall size that I need on my page, in this case on my whiteboard, and leave some space around it because we have to add the labels later on. Okay, so an animal cell, and I'm drawing a line here, and every time when I'm drawing a line I am drawing a membrane. Okay, now make sure that the membrane is closed. Some people are very sloppy and they just it's not closed. You shouldn't be doing that. How am I going to do that? I'm simply going to change now the color, and maybe you want to use a ruler. I'm not going to do this now because it's a little difficult here with the camera and everything, but I'm going to add a label line. Make sure that the lines always touch the object that you want to label, and this here is the plasma membrane. I have to find it. Here it is up. So plasma membrane or cell membrane. Okay, this is the structure. Also make sure that if possible the lines are straight, don't bend them, and don't cross the labeling lines. So you have to do a little bit of planning here. Now the plasma membrane surrounds the cytoplasm, and where is the cytoplasm? That is over here. And I'm going to add it here. And the cytoplasm is the liquid part of the cell, and therefore it points here in here. That's what I mean when I say always draw it in the same order. Cytoplasm is surrounded by the plasma membrane. So plasma and plasm, you see that there is this connection here. So an animal cell is a eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. So what I have to do now is I have to draw a nucleus, but the nucleus is the largest cell organelle in a eukaryotic cell. So it is, pretty large. So maybe this size here. Okay, I'm going to draw it here on the left side because I need the space here on the right to add some other cell organelles. And again, I am drawing a membrane here. Okay, because I'm drawing a line. And the nucleus has two membranes. Okay, so this means I need to draw a second membrane around it. It's very close to the first membrane. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit difficult now because the marker is relatively thick, and you get the idea. Yeah. So these are the two nuclear membranes, and this is the nucleus. So where is nucleus? I'm going to label this as nucleus. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not a good idea to include the label inside the drawing as well. I want to actually keep the drawing clean. So I'm going to point to the nuclear membranes, and some people also call it the nuclear envelope because there are two of them here, and this is how it looks like. Okay, inside the nucleus I have DNA. So I have to kind of include the DNA here. The DNA usually is so extremely fine that you're not able to see it as lines, but I'm going to call this my DNA. Okay, so again I'm going to draw a labeling line. Always plan out the labeling a little bit. It's a little bit bent. But I'm having a little difficult time here kind of bending over and making the drawing. So this is the DNA. What else are there in the eukaryotic cell? Well, there are so-called mitochondria, and those mitochondria, they are what you call the powerhouse of the cell. But actually a better way of saying it is this is the place of cell respiration. So mitochondrion is the singular. I'm going to draw it first. Again, I'm drawing a line, okay, and this means that this is a membrane. I don't know, the nucleus should actually be bigger, I think, but I do need the space here as well because I'll be adding more organelles. So this is the outer membrane of the mitochondrion, and the mitochondria also has an inner membrane, and there are these infoldings. And yeah, so there is a double membrane here as well. Okay. And obviously to increase the surface area, that's why the inner membrane has those infoldings. And I'm going to again make sure that there is a proper label here. Yeah, I just show you something. Don't draw the mitochondria like this, because some people I've seen students draw it like this. They draw it here and they kind of go like this. Yeah, no, it doesn't look nice. Okay, so I don't even have a. Here it is. Okay. So we continue. What we have is maybe it's not a good idea to keep on jumping back and forth, but besides the mitochondria over here, if you look at the nucleus again on the outer membrane, what happens is that the outer membrane of the nucleus is able to fold out. Okay, and there are these very thin. It's again a membrane. Okay, it kind of follows along. Sometimes it appears to be connected, sometimes not. Yeah. I think I need to get myself a slightly thinner marker. Okay. Okay, this is how it looks like. And yeah, again, I'm drawing lines, and this basically means that I'm drawing a membrane. And on the surface here, I've got little dots. Okay. And yeah, so that these dots are important. And this structure, I think that's one of the most beautiful names in biology. It's called the rough endoplasmic reticulum, or the RER, the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So I'm going to include it here. And of course a label here. Okay. So. And I need to explain this a little bit. Rough means, yeah, rough, okay? And it's rough because of those little dots here. Those little dots are ribosomes. And endoplasmic means inside the plasma. Endo means inside, plasmic refers to plasma, reticulum means network. So it is a rough network inside the cytoplasm. And the dots on the surface here, these are ribosomes. So I'm going to draw a line here. However, there are also ribosomes floating around free in the cytoplasm. Okay, so these are also ribosomes. And I'm also going to draw yeah, a label here. Yeah, maybe I should actually touch one ribosome over here. It's one of those here. And I need to find now where is ribosome. Ah, here it is. Okay. So here. These are these are ribosomes. Now you see that there are two different types of ribosomes, those that are found on the RER and those that are found floating around freely in the cytoplasm. I've indicated ATS here. This is an indicator of the size of the ribosomes, because eukaryotic cells like plant and animal cells, they have ATS ribosomes, and prokaryotes, which I'm going to talk about in a different video, they have 70S ribosomes. And that's an important distinguishing criterion as well. So I go on. There are still a few other interesting, look, so many more sheets I have to kind of fit in here. Yeah, some of them are actually relevant here, like the cell wall. They're not relevant here because this is for a plant cell. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw again, yeah, a little line here. These are membranes again, and these are vacuoles. Okay, so it's a vacuole, and there are so-called food vacuoles out there that store food, and some vacuoles store water. And because it's an animal cell, the vacuoles are not so big. Okay, in plant cells it's different. The vacuole is huge; it almost fills out the full cell, but in an animal cell not so much. But important is yeah. Yeah, a line means it's a membrane. See, and I'm already running out a little bit of space here. I also have smaller, yeah, little bubbles. You don't call them bubbles, you call them vesicles. And the vesicles, they transport substances around in a cell, specifically proteins. So I've written it in singular, so I have to only point it to one over here. So that it's a vesicle. Yeah. And yeah, there are also other little structures like these that contain digestive enzymes. They look very similar to those vesicles. I'm going to draw them over here. Okay. And because they contain digestive enzymes, because we're talking about here as an animal cell, so when, for example, the cell has taken in yeah, some food, and then those yeah, lysosomes, that's they're called, they will contain digestive enzymes to digest the food. So I'm going to again here make a label here to lysosome. And yeah, I'm almost finished. Yeah, there are two more things that I want to talk about. Cell wall and chloroplast up here are not relevant because they're for plant cells. Here I have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the Golgi apparatus. So let's make the smooth endoplasmic reticulum first. Yeah, it's again a network, yeah, or let's say a membrane, but there are no ribosomes on it. And the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is important for making lipids. Yeah. So, okay, see, I have to kind of make sure that there is some kind of a space over here. So let's put it up here. So that's the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And here in the middle, I have still the space to draw a so-called a Golgi body. And the Golgi body is like a stack of membranes. So I'm going to draw it like this. It's a little bit thicker here on the side. Yeah, like a stack of pancakes. Some people say. Yeah, okay, they're very thin. They're a little bit thicker here on the outside, and they become progressively smaller. Maybe I'm going to draw a bigger one over here. Okay. I think it's too big. Okay. Honestly, compared to the size of the nucleus, yeah, it's almost the same size. I think it's too big, but you get the point. Golgi apparatus or Golgi body or simply the Golgi. Yeah. See, this is what you call bad planning. Where am I going to put it? Maybe I'm going to squeeze it in here. The Golgi apparatus, and I'm going to make a line here. Golgi. What is a Golgi? What does Golgi even mean? Okay, look, I've got again a picture here. Huh? That's Camillo Golgi. He was an Italian scientist who discovered it. Yeah. So yeah, so it's named according to him, and this is also the reason why Golgi is capitalized, because it's the name of a person. So Camillo Golgi, he did a whole bunch of microscopy work, and he was able. He discovered the Golgi body. Okay, now it's named according to him. Yeah. So these basically are now the most important structures of an animal cell. Is it important where you draw those structures? Or those cell organelles? Well, not so, because a cell is dynamic, okay? So the parts float around, they move around inside the cell. I've only drawn one mitochondria, and of course cells can have several mitochondria, several Golgi bodies. Yeah, it's not only limited to one. Generally, in most cases, a cell has one nucleus. But if you watched my video on the exceptions of the cell theory, you know that there are certain cells that actually have multiple nuclei even. So you see, this is only a drawing. Yeah? So this means that not all cells look like this. It's almost like when you draw a tree on your sheet of paper. It's only a drawing of a tree. A tree doesn't really look exactly like that. Yeah? It's a model of it. It's also only a two-dimensional cross section, because in reality a cell is a three-dimensional structure. But I think if you've got all of these parts here, then you essentially have got a pretty good picture of how an animal cell looks like. And what I'm also going to do then in an upcoming video is I'm going to show you how a plant cell looks like, and we're going to talk about the function of those cell organelles. Okay. But be careful before I say bye-bye. Not all of these here are actually cell organelles, because a cell organelle is a structure inside a cell. And strictly speaking, the plasma membrane is not a cell organelle. Why not? Because it's not inside the cell. Yeah. Or for example, the cytoplasm over here, yeah, is not a cell organelle. It is the liquid content of the cell. It contains many enzymes, but it's not a cell organelle. And somewhat disputed, what about the ribosomes here? Those ribosomes, they don't have a membrane. Yeah? And are they then really organelles? Yeah. So you see, it's a little bit of a question of definition, and different people think, yeah, these are ribosomes are also organelles, but organelles without a membrane. It's a little bit of a definition question. I just wanted to make sure that you understand that what you have inside a cell is you have many different regions that are separated from each other by membranes. Okay, and this is what you call compartmentalization, but this is the topic of a different video. But for right now, I think this should be enough. I wish you all the best, and see you around. Bye bye.